Hello Virgo, and welcome to your Astroflower reading. This is going to be an Astroflower reading for the week of the 13th through to the 20th. If you don't know anything about the Astroflower, please go into the description below and you will find links to videos to understand a lot more about the Astroflower, the petals, human rhythms, solar rhythms and stuff like that. If you want to learn more about the energy and chakra systems, you'll also find a link for our sister channel, the Cymatic TV, in there below, where we do energy updates, where you might want to subscribe and click the bell for notification to give you a heads up on what's happening in the sun and how it affects this. We've also been doing a lot of readings on Instagram as well, which Tanya's been doing a lot of, my partner as it were. And she's been doing a lot of readings on Instagram according to how the sun is affecting each particular sign. So go and follow us there, which you will also find in the description below. Excuse me a second, I've just got to collect all of those cards up. I sometimes take cards that pop out, but I'm not going to take all of them because there's far too many of them. So, go in those description below, subscribe to us or follow us on Instagram, and you'll get those heads up readings on there. So, bit of a transition actually for you Virgo here by the looks of things. Okay. So you're fully into your summer, Virgo, which is quite nice. You've been affected by that cosmic rays coming through early on in the week, which I talked about, which we had on Instagram. But we should be having in the coming weeks some more sort of solar flares, which are going to stimulate what little fire you have in your good self. If you want to know about the if you want to see your Astroflower, there is a link in the description below that you can see it. This is your spiritual sort of side. This is your material or physical sort of side of life. This is the inner being within you. These two petals here, petals 1 and 4, is how the universe is trying to influence your karmic paths, which are these two cards here, 2 and 3. 5 and 7 is how your guides are trying to influence your karmic paths on the subconscious or the super subconscious level. And these are how your guides are trying to influence that conversation within you on petals 8 and 9, within the conversation that is in your spirit. Petal 10 is how you interact with the life around you. And petal 6 is your inner sanctum. So yeah, I think emotionally this week, you'll see the tides turn, I think, this week. That is what it looks like. It seems like on the surface that there's a lot going on. And when there's a lot going on, some things are going to work and some things aren't going to work. It's just the way it goes. When there's too many things going on at once, and you Virgos tend to do this. You'll tend to do loads of things. You'll end up running around like a blue-ass fly, as we say in English, or in England, for everybody and not for yourself. And this week here is what you're looking for is a victory that is within, not necessarily a victory that is outside of you. It's a victory for you inside you. That's what it appears to be doing. And let's take the spiritual side to start with, because that's the side that seems to be flowing for you, as it were, and where you seem to get the biggest transformation. So the universe has got the 10 of Cups coming in here. So pure happiness, abundance with your life around you. But if you do notice on the 10 of Cups, there is a fence there, and there is also a barrier that you've had to go through. So you've had to go through a lot in order to get there. But the universe is sort of saying, you're there now. It's time. It seems to be for you on the spiritual or the emotional front. It's time now to live the dream or the life that you want to live. That's what the universe is sort of influencing upon you. On your karmic path, you have the high priestess. You can manifest it within you. And manifesting it may not be, although she's got her eyes closed, so therefore she can see through the mist, as it were. She's got that religious aspect of it. She's studied a lot, but she knows how to use her intuition. And this is what your karmic path seems to be this week, where you've got to use that intuition. And with all that air energy that's been flowing around you at the moment, with those cosmic rays that we saw on Instagram, it's going to stimulate a lot of ideas within you. And those intuitions within you are going to help you to produce on the spiritual or the emotional front a situation where you are going to be able to realize that you can actually put it all into place. And you've got to nurture it. And this is what your guides are sort of saying here. So on petal 5, you've got your guide sort of saying, we have possibilities. The universe is offering us the 10 of Cups. Your pathway is becoming clear within your intuition. Now let's nurture that path. But in order to nurture that path, you have to realize that you can't do everything at the same time. You have to trust in the process of what's going on. You have to trust that what you've put into place will come to fruition. And if you do that, those seeds are going to germinate and create that plant. If you were to plant seeds and let's say 2 weeks later on, before the real shoots started coming up, you started pulling them out of the ground to see whether they were germinating, you're going to affect the way the plant grows. So I would trust in the process. I think that's what your guides are sort of trying to help you here with. And with the universe, because they can see what's coming in and through the universe a lot better than we can, because we're living in the body. And they can see this happiness coming in for you. And if you do trust in that process, you will have a situation where you'll be able to see clearly, and your intuitive path will lead you to greater things and victory within inside you. I think this victory is more to do with the spiritual or emotional front, where you've decided to do something, or you've decided to live life and to love fully. If you've decided that, then that's what you're going to have. Little victories at the beginning, but they're going to be victories for you inside you. No one else will probably notice them, but it'll give you an immense feeling or sensation of fulfillment, of self well-being, as it were. And you can turn those fortunes, and this is where the conversation on the spiritual front saying it can turn your life around into a very fortuitous situation. If you nurture your path and stick to what makes you happy, okay? If you do, those things that are coming in quickly, you seem to be running around really busy about, as it comes in really quickly, and things may be changing really quite quickly, or things may be happening quite quickly, you'll be really happy about what your future position looks like after this week, emotionally and spiritually. It definitely will be fulfilled. On the physical front, a little bit of a different situation there. There is also that it's sort of running in lag behind the emotional side by the looks of things. The universe there is sort of saying, you're stuck in your ways. I think that's what it's sort of saying. And it may be that case of stuck in that ways of running around really fast on the surface for everybody else and not fulfilling your deep inner needs on the material front as much as on the spiritual front. And the universe is sort of saying, what you put out there in the universe is not necessarily the reflection of what you should be getting back. And so if we do a lot of things for other people, our expectations are really quite high and etc. And the conversation that's going on in your subconscious, it's that Five of Cups. You may be feeling really disappointed with the outside world at the moment in a physical, material front. It could be in a materials or physical front where how people are with you. Do they spend time with you? Do they, do they get involved in your spirit, in your physical life, in your material life? If not, then maybe, you shouldn't be really investing in these people. Are they not? Is it not a fair exchange? If it's not a fair exchange, it may not be the best thing for you. And your guides here are actually, this guides on the super subconscious. So this is basically trying to influence the karmic path, your karmic path. Your guides here is sort of saying, it's now time to draw a line and make a break, start anew. And that comes from you being stuck. Something's got to give here. On the material front, something's got to give. Something's got to give. And you've got that Seven of Cups. It's all about choices, but it's a little bit, it could be procrastination a little bit as well, where you've got too many choices. But when you realize, and all these choices, there's snakes and ladders and there's a hot air and everything like that in those choices. But there is also that choice there is producing all the emotions that you actually need. And really, if you look at the situation around you, if you look carefully, it's going to be evident what you should be doing physically in your life. And that could be to do with jobs, that could be to do with businesses, that could be to do with houses. It could be also to be with physically of where you are. And that disappointment doesn't have to be like that, because she does have that full cup in her hand, and she can actually turn herself against those full cups and the cups that are now empty, that she's invested a lot in other people and it's just been wasted, or that feeling and that sentiment that it's been wasted. She's actually got the one cup in her hand. So she's got the Ace of Cups in her hand. And you could start that new journey. And that's what it seems to be sort of coming through here on the physical sort of side. There is definitely a decision that needs to be made which stops you feeling stuck and decreases that sense of disappointment in the world that is around you. So you can build on those small victories of who you are with that Six of Wands within you. And that is that personal, those personal victories within yourself. And yeah, I think it's tied to the emotional sort of side. But if you choose that path, if you choose that evident path in front of you on the physical front, and as I say, it might well be moving, it might well be that. And that death and rebirth, that may well be the victory for you, that death and rebirth, of actually following that new path. And you will leave behind, after a moment of disappointment, maybe at the beginning of the week, and you will leave behind that whole sentiment of, I've tried this, I couldn't do this because I didn't have this paperwork, or I tried to do this and I couldn't do this because I didn't have the right shoes, or something along this, or I tried to do this and the car wouldn't work. That's that physical thing about the material world seems to be sort of blocking you. And I think in a way, it's a bit of a blessing in disguise, because maybe you're just running around too quickly and not actually seeing things as they should be, seeing them clearly. And maybe the universe is sort of blocking you in a way to sort of saying, stop, slow down. You're doing too much, Be interesting to see how it plays out in the clarification of these this reading in the week. So don't forget to subscribe and click that bell, so then you get the notifications of these future readings that are coming up in the coming week. And we will be connecting it to how the sun is working, because there is that sun flare or that sunspot that's coming around the corner, which is going to stimulate again your air a little bit, but much more in an angsty sort of way, which may create that disappointment, may create that feeling of sensation of being a little bit blocked. But within that, something has got to give and choices need to be made. I think it'd be a lot easier if you chose to just slow down the pace. And if you did slow down the pace, you've got the capacity of turning this into a real victory, into a real moment of fortune. Okay? So I will see you for the part 2, Virgo. Don't forget, life should be fun. So please do enjoy.